you fall into that that sort of mindset of just sort of living for the weekend. We had no purpose. All I was doing, I was going to work, coming back, then going out, weekend, drink, football.
How you doing, folks? Pete here from Thairish Times. We have an interview for you today with Gary Butler, a.k.a. the roaming cook, or as we'd say in Dublin, the roaming cook. I remember having a conversation with a man from Manchester a couple of years ago, and we were debating the pronunciation of the word book. And he said to me, "What sound does an owl make?" And I said, "Hoot." And he said, "Spell it." And I said, H-O-O-T, hoot. And he said, "What do you read?" And I said, "A book." And he said, "No, it's a book." Anyway, I digress. We're going to interview Gary today about why he decided to move to Thailand. He was back in the UK, he was in London boy, and he was, let's say, not too happy with his life back in London, and he decided to jump ship, get himself over to Thailand. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about other things as well. So do me a favor, folks, if you like this content, hit the like button, leave me a comment, and if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscription button and do me a favor. We're nearly at 7k now. We've got 3,000 more people to hit 10k. I've got my heart set on 10k and I need your help. So do me that big favor, hit that subscription button if you like the content. If you don't, you don't. You can't like everything in life. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. Gary Butler.
How you doing, mate?
How's it going?
I'm good. Excited.
Sláinte. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, mate. You're very excited. First ever interview. So you got the exclusive,
I'm
mate.
doing a lot of firsts. You and Paddy Doyle.
Yeah, it was Paddy's first one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He told me about a couple of weeks before that he doesn't do interviews. He won't do any interviews. And then you did an interview with him, so.
That's it. Thairish Times. We're up there. We're with the big boys now.
The scoops.
So tell us, Gary, where are we?
We are at Bon Plan D on, if I'm saying it correctly, Klong Mon, which is the easiest way to describe it. We're kind of behind Wat Arun, which is like the most famous temple in Bangkok. So we're kind of behind there, real local little community, canal side community, and this is where I am pretty much every day, near enough. So yeah, this is the office.
So let's talk about what you're doing over here in Thailand.
All right, well, I have a YouTube channel called The Roaming Cook, which is all about Thai food. I've been here for 6 years. I started off doing an actual written food blog, which was Thai food recipes. And then I started eating more and more. And then I started doing some reviews and stuff. And then like the cooking part of it just kind of fell away. And I now just solely concentrate on finding like authentic, local Thai food, mainly street food.
So I've seen your channel loads of times, watched loads of your videos. You have a passion for food, yeah?
Obsessed.
Tell us, where'd that all start?
It's weird because a lot of people always ask me like, "Oh, do your family cook? Like, oh, do you get it from your mum, your dad?" Like, no one in my family cooked at all apart from my nan. Like my mum, bless her, can't really cook. Like my mum eats for fuel, so you don't eat because, you know what I mean? She's just, food is food to her. My dad weren't really ever there, so he never cooked. So that's probably why I learned to cook. But I've been cooking since I was about 7 years old, I think. So, and I used to be obsessed when I was younger. I'd read packets, like it could be anything. Like I could get even like a sandwich at a supermarket, and I'd read the back and the ingredients and go home and make it. And then or even like say, I don't know, a bottle of sauce, and I'd read the back and I'd read the ingredients and I'd mess about with it till I could make the sauce and stuff like that. So, always been obsessed with food. Like I read cookbooks, like they're novels. Like I'll read books before I go, cookbooks before I go to bed. I watch non-stop YouTube like Thai cooking programs, so I can know exactly like what goes into all the food and what ingredients they use. I recreate stuff at home, so then when I'm out eating it, then I like to think I know how it's supposed to taste, so I can give people like a more of a detailed breakdown of what we're eating, rather than just like, oh yeah, that's like really all street foody.
Yeah, you
So,
definitely
do you know
know.
what I mean?
You when you analyze food and you taste it, you know, you're super descriptive. So tell us, what brought you over here to Thailand? Like, why did you pick this country to live in?
Well, I've been coming to Thailand for about 12, maybe longer than that, 14 years. The first time I came with an ex, and we went to Koh Samui for a 2-week holiday, and I vowed never to come back. It was the worst holiday I've ever been on, but that was more due to the fact that my ex and I absolutely hated each other rather than actually anything to do with Koh Samui. So I like a lot of other people, I had a bad breakup, not with her, with another girl, and I don't know what possessed me, but I went on Google and I typed in best food in Thailand, because I'd started cooking Thai food at home. I get obsessive, as you can tell, about food. So I've typed into Google best Thai food in Thailand, or best food in Thailand, sorry, and it came up with Chiang Mai. So I just booked a flight to Chiang Mai on my own. Then about, I don't know, but it wasn't straight away, it was for like 2 months' time. And then within 2 months, I was completely fine over the breakup. And then I was like, what the hell am I doing? I'm going to Thailand by myself, like next week. Like, panic set in, I'm like, what am I actually doing? What was like, but it was the best thing that I've ever done. So as soon as I got here, literally as soon as I landed, as soon as I got out of the airport, I felt like I was at home. And since then, and I come back every year, twice a year, 3 times a year. Met my now wife, we came every year. And then, yeah, just since I first came, it's felt like home to me. I can't explain it, but this feels like where I'm meant to be. So, when I started the actual food blog, because it was in London, I started it, because no one was really doing it at that time with Thai food, only like...
What year are we talking here?
2015, I guess. Yeah, 2015. And I booked a trip to Thailand. I was meant to come by myself, and then my wife ended up coming last minute. And my wife's a teacher, so I said to her, bring your CV, or your resume for your American viewers. And she didn't want to live in Bangkok, but cut a long story short, she did get off. We went to a school, she gave her CV and she got offered a job straight away. So she was like, what are we going to do? I said, look, let's try it for a couple of months. If you don't like it, you can come home. She found that expat teacher life when she got here, going to rooftop bars and all that. So she really enjoyed that side of things, and then I could get on with the food stuff. So yeah, that's what brought me here. I think, did I even answer the question?
Yeah, you did, you answered it. So, all right, well, actually, one of the questions was, you're married to an English wife. And,
yes, I'm one of the only ones. I'm one of the weirdos, aren't I?
Yeah, which is quite unusual over here. I mean, to come over with your wife. And you said she likes it. And
no, she loves it, yeah. Yeah. But we weren't actually married when we got married here. We didn't get married in England. So I often joke I'm the only guy who's ever married a white woman for a visa in Thailand. No, we were born here. We were born here. So we were married here. My son was born here a couple of years ago. He's nearly 3 now. So yeah, I feel like we're settled here. This is where we're supposed to be. But
yeah, so that's what I was going to ask you. What's the future for you? Are you plan to stay here long term? Because, you know, I know people that have, you know, everything changes when you have a baby, right?
Yeah.
And 2 English people have a baby. Is the baby's identity? Is he gonna grow up English, or is he like, what's gonna happen?
It looks like he's gonna grow up Thai at the moment. I'm gonna do whatever's best for him. If it's best for us to go back for his development, or is it best for us to stay here and experience like a different culture? He can live a better life here. Well, when I say a better life, I mean we can live more comfortably here than we can in England, and continue doing like stuff that we're passionate about, rather than going back and maybe, I don't know, doing that, having to work a 9 to 5 again back in England.
What was life like back in England before you came over here?
Well, I'm a painter and decorator by trade, so yeah, I have a decorating business. I was a decorator from 15 to. I mean, people still ask me to do stuff when I go back now for a holiday, but. It was very much stress, like for me, pure stress. Like having people working for me, not turning up for work, and then I'm having to do extra work, and it's a job I don't want to do, that I was only meant to do for 2 weeks. I did it for 16 years, like 20 years nearly. It was just, you know, that you fall into that sort of mindset of just sort of living for the weekend. We had no purpose. All I was doing, I was going to work, coming back, then going out, weekend, drink, football, that classic sort of... Repeat.
Yeah, I've done it myself.
You know,
I know.
You know, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to get away. You can call it running away from your problems or whatever, but I think sometimes you just need a change of scenery and a bit of like a fresh start, do you know what I mean? Where you can go, like you can come here, you can be anyone, you know what I mean? Like, you're not pigeonholed into that person you were back in with your mates when you were 15 years old. get to sort of 31, 32 and you're like, sort of grown out of that a little bit, you know?
I know exactly what you're saying, because traveling over here, it opens a brand new perspective on life and
sure.
everything to do with it. You know, like, we sound like we've lived very similar lives.
Yeah, I'm sure we have. I mean, yeah, Dublin, London is both same, innit?
Same,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, same. London's about 20 times bigger.
Yeah.
I heard you say before, you told me this before, that you love Bangkok.
Love Bangkok.
Why do you love it?
I don't know, because people say to me, oh, do you love like the hustle and the bustle? Not really, no. Like, I don't really like crowded places at all. I'm not like, I could quite, like, I'm not too bothered whether I see anyone during the day or, like, I don't like central Bangkok. Like, you know, I don't like the Sukhumvit Road with all the, like, Asok and stuff. I don't mind it. I mean, it's not bad to go and stay there for a holiday or whatever, but it's a bit too chaotic and busy for me. But what I do like about Bangkok is the fact that you've got absolutely everything you want here. So if you do want that, and you do want like that busy sort of quote-unquote expat life with the shopping malls and the Western comforts and stuff, you've got that. You've also got like the old city, so you've got the culture, you've got the temples, you've got Chinatown, you've got where I live, Thonburi, which is where we are now, which is like, it's almost like going back 60 years here. Like, nothing here's really changed. You go up and down these canals and it's like, life hasn't changed. Yeah, like, hasn't really, I don't know, what's the word? Corrupted. I don't know, corrupted, is that the right word? But you know what I mean. It's like...
Westernized. Capitalism.
Yeah, and exactly right, there you go. And like for me, from what I just said, like living in London, don't get me wrong, I'm from the outskirts of London. I'm not from like central London, but it's just still same. Coming from somewhere busy and like just always just chasing money every week, to come here and it's just...
it's a different way of living.
It's a different way of living, yeah. But the main thing I like about Bangkok's the food. That's a long way of me getting around to saying Bangkok for me is all about the food. Because you can get any kind of food here. Thai Chinese food, best in the country, I'd imagine. Maybe Phuket Town's quite good, Songklar's good, but you can get amazing southern food, northern food, northeastern food, any food you want in Bangkok. Like, we used to come to Thailand, spend like 2 days in Bangkok. God, let's get out of here. Let's go down to the islands, or let's go up to Chiang Mai. And now it's the other way around. Like, we'll go on holiday, and after 2 days, I'll be like, oh, babe, can we go back to Bangkok, please? I need to get some food. But
yeah, Bangkok, you love it or you hate it, don't you?
Yeah,
I love it as well. I like the busy.
Yeah, I know you like it, don't you? Yeah.
Every 2 months, right, I need to get out. So every 2 months, I go to the Koh Chang and chill out there, yeah? And that's like a refresh.
Yeah.
So there must be something you don't like. I'll give you a clue. You can't like this. What's happened this week with the air quality?
Oh yeah, the smoke, the smog. Yeah, it's not great, is it? But at the same time, I don't want to get too deep into it, but like, obviously a lot of the farmers are burning crops and stuff, right? But what else are they going to do? Because they can't afford to buy the machines. The government don't give them the machines. The machines are too difficult to use. So what else do you do? Unless they're getting paid more money. If you incentivise them not to burn the crops, they probably wouldn't burn the crops. But instead of giving them whatever, 200 baht a day, if you gave them 1,000 baht a day, they might not burn the crops. They might go and buy a machine and use the machine. So I'm quite like, I don't really like moaning too much because this isn't my country. I know that's a bit stupid because you can go like, everyone can have an opinion. You don't have to be a citizen of the country to have an opinion, but like expats, and which I don't call myself an expat, but expats will moan in cycles, right? So it'll be like, what's the first one usually? It's too hot, right? And so it's too hot because it's April, and it's too rainy because it's rainy season. Then there's 2 weeks of good weather and everyone's like, oh, this is lovely, and then everyone starts moaning about the burning as well. So like, that's all people do is moan. But I don't like smog season, no, but like it's something I'm willing to put up with. I don't know enough about it, to be honest.
You made an interesting point there. That was actually, I didn't realise the extent of, like you said, the machinery and stuff like that. And it's not just a problem because it's the burning in Indonesia as well, and it comes across to. What's going to happen there? It's it's going to be an issue.
I mean, they found. I don't know. I don't want to get too. No, I'm not even going to say it. But a lot of governments have found, including this one, have found a load of money for something that they can give away. They've just miraculously found some money. So why can't they find some money and give it to people to stop them burning crops? If that's a major issue, they could have found that money to give to them, because they found the money to give to people for something else, right? Over the last 2 years, which I won't say obviously what it is on camera, but I think everyone knows what I'm talking about, right? But I will say one more thing about the air pollution. My thoughts on it have changed slightly since I've had a son, since my babies, because now I'm worried about him, because I'm not too bothered about it, because I smoked for 20 odd years, I don't anymore, but now I know he's breathing it, and now I'm a bit like, oh, I don't want him to go outside, do you know what I mean? So it is a problem that needs solving.
I met a guy the other day that has a tech company in Chiang Mai, and he said he's out of Thailand. He said, pollution's too bad here, I'm leaving Thailand.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, you're going to leave because of it? And he's like, yeah. And he had one of those, those things like earphones, but it's like an air purifier thing, and he had it hanging around his neck. Yeah,
but Chiang Mai gets bad. Chiang Mai and up there, that gets up there with Delhi and some of the worst polluted countries in the world. So, or cities in the world, I should say. So yeah.
So Gary, you do food tours.
I do food tours. Yeah.
Give them a plug there.
There you go. So yeah, we do food tours. I've hooked up with a company. A friend of mine, and we do tours together. So I come on the tours, and also you have a licensed tour guide, Thai guide, that comes on the tours as well to take the tour, because we want to support local guys that lost their jobs over the last 2 years, because pretty much that anything to do with hospitality, anything like that, tours, bar work, anything that involves tourists, dead. So if we can help a few people out here and there, getting them back into work, that's what we're trying to do.
This is a bit of a strange question, right?
All right.
Any regrets in life? If you could go back and change something,
I don't know.
Would you change it?
I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of things. I'd say this now. There's a lot of things I wish I hadn't done. But would I go back and change anything? No, because I know it sounds cliche, but if I go back and change something, then I wouldn't be where I am today in exactly the right place. So, for instance, I go back and change something, then would my son have been born? Would I have been, I don't know, if I hadn't gone through everything I'd gone through, and all the stupid things I've done, all the mistakes I've made, would I be ready to be the father that I am right now, if that makes sense?
No regrets. That's good. That's good.
You can't have regrets in life. You can't have regrets. I know it's cliche, but I used to be one of these people. I used to be so focused on the past. I used to be so worried about what I'd done, what I'd said, what people thought about me. But you can't worry about things like that, because we're only here for a certain amount of time. That's one thing we don't have, is extra time. So I could be dead tomorrow, and regretting things isn't going to help me today. Do you know what I mean? You just got to focus, make mistakes, learn from your mistakes, don't make the same mistakes again, or try not to make the same mistakes again, not 100 times anyway, and move on. That's all you can do. That's for me.
Fair play.
It's easier said than done. I mean, I've made the same mistakes, as I've said earlier on in the video. I mean, I made the same mistakes every single week for 15 odd years, but eventually you live and learn, I guess, and grow.
What motivates you, Gary?
What motivates me?
What gets you out of bed? What gets Gary making videos? Why is he over here? What's your motivation in life?
I just want to help people, basically. So whether that's helping people find somewhere to eat, or it's helping small family-run businesses maybe get some more customers. Because I'll tell you a story. My friend Om, who runs Hidden Bangkok, little plug for Hidden Bangkok, he called me and he said, I found this noodle shop, and the lady, she's really interesting, but she's got no customers, right? She was a Chinese opera singer in Bangkok. She's from China, southern China. She's been in Thailand 20 years, opera singer. Obviously with COVID, there was no opera, so she just opened a noodle shop, had no customers, right? wasn't on Google, wasn't like nothing, no advertisement, nothing. So I did a video there, and I took it was one of my highest ever viewed videos. I had my son in the video as well, which helped, because Thai people like my little pale ginger son. So yeah, and I stuck her on Google, so I put her shop onto Google Maps, put some pictures up for her, and next time I went in there, she was so happy and so appreciative, because she said loads and loads of people had come to try the noodles and the dumplings that she makes, and now she's getting repeat orders. People are ringing up, ordering the dumplings over the phone, coming to pick them up. She's got Grab drivers, delivery drivers. She didn't know how to do any of that stuff before, so it's just stuff like that, knowing that I've helped someone out, that's what motivates me. Yeah, and I keep talking about going back to my son, but I want my son to look and see that his dad worked hard at something he was passionate about. He didn't just settle for his... And there's nothing wrong with painting and decorating. My dad's a painter and decorator, my granddad was a painter and decorator, but I didn't want to do it, and it was mind-numbing and soul-destroying for me. So instead of just sticking at that and being scared to do something else, after my son was born, I threw myself into this YouTube, and it's now starting to pay off for me. So yeah, I just want him to grow up and see that his dad actually followed something he wanted to do, that he was passionate about, and then hopefully he will do something he's passionate about and do so much better than I have in my field, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. Gary, we'll leave it there.
All right, lovely,
Thanks very
mate.
much.
Cheers, mate.
And subscribe. Check out Gary's channel, The Roaming Cook. Check out Thairish Times. If you're not already subscribed, hit that button. Give us a like, leave us a comment. And if you have an interesting story and you want to tell it on camera, thairishtimes@gmail.com or Instagram. Check us out on Instagram, and we'll see you on the next one.